Thanks so much for your patience, guys. We are back. So thanks for being patient. Talking about expectations. I am Nicole Azaán, your V.I.P coach, encouraging you to cultivate vision, clarify intention, and understand purpose. How do we begin to set healthy expectations so that we're not disappointed in relationships, so we're not dramatic in relationships, so that we don't just have a whole lot of unnecessary confusion and miscommunication? Thanks so much for joining. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. How do we set expectations that people can meet, expectations that we can meet? How do we tell someone that we feel they're welcome? Thanks for joining. How do we tell someone their expectation is unrealistic? How do we challenge the unrealistic expectations that we have of others? Think about the areas that you're disappointed in right now in life. In particular, let's focus on relationships. Think about, let's get two people because we don't want to make one person a target. So let's think of two people whom right now you would say fairly that you are disappointed with. Think about why you are disappointed. Have they done something? Have they not done something? Have they injured you in a certain way? What is the source of your disappointment? And then think about how you've handled this disappointment. Did this person know that you expected this of them? Did you ever say, I expect you to do A, B, C, or D, or I expect you to be A, B, C, or D? Did you say it directly, or did you imply it? Were you sarcastic? Did you insinuate it? Did you joke about it in their earshot and hope that they would pick up the hint? Expectations are not hints. They need to be clearly stated. Expectations are terms of the soul. They're things that we expect. Sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they're right. Oftentimes they must be adjusted. They always must be examined. But expectations are not meant to be hidden and concealed. There's a difference between your expectation and intimacy. Intimate things, confidential things need to be kept secret and held private, and they need a certain kind of protection. Expectations need to be voiced. They need to be articulated. They need to be clear, and they need to be examined often. A lot of times we don't like to examine expectations until we decide to give up on a relationship. And then because we're done, we then blast the person with all of the expectations that we held but didn't articulate. So it becomes an attack. Once our exit becomes ammunition, and we take our disappointment, we take our betrayal, we take our disillusionment, and we hurl it at the other person. Well, I'm leaving because you didn't do A, B, C, and D. You never did X, Y, and Z, and you never thought about LMNOP. But we never articulated those expectations to those persons. So think about who you're disappointed with right now. Person A and person B. I'm disappointed with these two individuals. Okay, clear. Why am I disappointed? That's the question that we're asking. Why am I disappointed? That's number one. You have to be able to be specific in your expectation. You can't say, I'm just not happy. It's just not working for me. I thought there'd be more to it than this. What is this? What is it? And what precisely is not working? Be specific. Because when you complain about the other person, you can give examples. You can give bullet points. You're going to tell someone else all of the things that you think this person is not doing. So be courageous enough to own your expectation in a healthy way. That's number one. Number two, what are we going to do to maintain healthy expectations? First, we are going to identify our expectation. We're going to know what I expect. Secondly, we are going to accept the expectation. And this is twofold. When you tell someone what your expectation of them is, you have to accept their answer. People have a right to tell you, I can't meet that expectation. People have a right not to accept your expectation. You may expect something. When I go to certain stores, I expect for them to have my favorite product. If I go to a restaurant, I expect for them to have my dish. And there are times when they say, sorry, we are out of this. We don't have this anymore. We ran out of this item earlier. It was really popular today. The store didn't meet my expectation. Now I can accept it. The way I accept it is up to me. But the store has a right not to meet my expectation. In relationships, people are not products. People have a right because of the needs in their own lives, because of the expectations that they have, and because people are people. They're not perfect. People have a right to accept or not accept your expectation. People have a right to cause you to revise your expectations. Someone very well may say, I understand what you expect, but I can't do this. I don't feel this is reasonable. So we have to articulate our expectations clearly. And then secondly, we have to accept the expectation. Number one, be prepared for the response of the other person. Be prepared to receive a yes, and be prepared to receive a no when you state your expectation. Being prepared means you're not going to punish the person based on their answer. It means when I enter this conversation, whether you say yes or no to me, whether you agree to meet my expectation or whether you disagree and don't meet my expectation, I'm not going to punish you in response or retaliation to my expectation. Period. It's a big girl move. It's a big guy move. It's a grown folks attitude towards expectation and relationship. But it also is a surefire way to eliminate drama. When you give people the right, which you can't take away from them, to make their own decisions, you have to be big enough to accept that people may not do what you want them to do when you want them to do it. People may not be able to meet the expectation that you have of them. And what does that mean? Does it mean they're a horrible person? Absolutely not. Does it mean you perhaps never should have been in a relationship with them in the first place? No. It means they can't meet an expectation that you have in the present moment. Now you have a choice. You have to accept that they can't meet this expectation, and then you have to find a way to get the expectation met elsewhere. If one store is out of my product, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist on the earth. I may have to go to another store to find it. I may have to choose a different product for the time being. I may have to order it online. You have choices. Don't hold people hostage to your expectation because you don't want to do the work of exploring alternatives. If someone does not accept your expectation, it's okay. Let them go. Be big about it. Don't have a fit. Don't try to hold them hostage. Don't try to make them stay. Don't try to force your expectation on them. Get your expectation met elsewhere in a healthy way. The other part of accepting expectation is being willing to consider, would I accept if someone else gave this expectation to me? It's easy for us to feel entitled in relationship and to feel that people should do things for us. Are you comfortable flipping the script? Are you okay with reciprocity? If you're asking someone to meet an expectation, are you willing to meet that very same expectation? Or do you have this idea that relationship is to be one-sided? You can't just state expectation. You have to be willing to own it yourself. So once you've said what the expectation is and you are able to accept the yes or the no that the other person gives you, then you also have to be willing to accept or deny what their expectation is. So then you ask, what do you expect of me? You can't have an expectation you can't have a conversation of expectation that's one-sided. It can't just be about what you want and what you need and what you expect. You have to be willing to do your part as well. You're dealing with a person, not a product, not a project, not a perfect person, but just a person. And they have expectations of you. And guess what? You've not met some expectations that they had and they didn't voice. And you didn't meet them maybe because you didn't know. Maybe you knew they had this expectation, but you said, unless you ask me, I'm not going to do it. He should say it. She should say it. Whatever the reason, own it. This is how relationships get healed and get fixed. Anything else is just dramatic, passing blame back and forth, debating over who should have said what. Listen, the fact is right now, at this point in the relationship, there's some disappointment, there's some injuries, and there's some distance. Are we going to correct it? Are we going to change it? Are we going to move forward? And the way that we do that is examining our expectations, articulating them clearly, accepting the expectation, accepting the yes and the no, and then asking, what do you expect of me? What do you expect of me? And don't just ask or examine expectations when you're angry. This need not be a difficult, dramatic conversation. Don't wait until you're at 100 to discuss expectations and blow up. That's not the way to handle people in relationships. So ask when you're calm, when you're cool. Check in. It can be a daily thing. Hey, how am I doing so far this week with expectations? I remember you asked me to take out the trash. I did remember you asked me to help around the house a little more. I remember you asked if I could be more involved with the kids. I remember you asked if I could help you with your schoolwork or this project at work. Am I meeting this expectation? Am I making time for you? Do you feel appreciated? It's simple. Do what you want the other person to do for you. They're not you. But if you will take the same consideration and give the same consideration that you expect to get, your relationships will improve. So we'll be doing some more VIP coaching around expectations and relationships and some other topics as we move along. If you have a topic or comment that you'd like to share, tweet me. Hit me at Nicole Azaán, Azaan. You can always visit the website, NicoleAzaán.com. The replays are always there for you. I like your comments. I like your feedback. So talk back to me. Let me know what's working, what's not working, what speaks to you, and how these coaching sessions help you. And if you're interested in working more in depth in one-on-one sessions or relationship sessions for VIP coaching, visit NicoleAzaán.com and schedule your session. As always, we are working to cultivate vision, clarify intention, and understand purpose to live on our best level. Thanks for joining.